Baathism is like, it is a political project with
What's
an ideology.
Baathism? Guys, come on.
We didn't even finish what the goats were doing behind those doors.
No, tell me what Baathism is, then we'll go back to the goats.
A sentence I think that has only ever been, as you know, it was spoken before by some shepherds in northern Iraq in about 1970.
Yeah.
I like the idea. Bluetooth has kind of had the reverse trajectory of a lot of technologies. Like a lot of technologies, they're sort of like they start off by doing something useful, and then they gradually develop insane uses as time goes on that no one predicted. And Bluetooth has sort of gone the opposite way, where now everyone just uses it for like headphones in their car and whatever. But back in the day, it was like to send each other videos of someone being fucked by a horse or whatever. Like that was like the first use of Bluetooth I ever encountered.
For me, it was a polyphonic ringtone, but I'm glad that
you... Of someone being fucked by a horse.
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
What?
Do you know you're like being like a teenage boy and people would just like Bluetooth you, just like horrifying stuff? I mean, I'm picking that out as a random example, not literally that.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
Maybe this was a UK thing, but I feel like...
It's definitely more of a UK thing.
No, we had it in Russia too.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You were too busy being Bluetooth scripts by Turnip Jimson for his new vegetable-based
I got his name.
Yeah.
Who's Turnip Jimson?
His name was Mr. Snyder.
Mr. Snyder. Release the Snyder Cut. Johnny Gordley.
Yeah.
Johnny Gordley.
Yeah.
The version of Johnny Gordley where you can actually see like blood and he says like, like slurs and stuff.
Oh, wow.
The dark reboot of Johnny Gordley. Where you see his parents get
sort
killed.
Of Adult Swim parody of
Gordley there's begins. 2 ways. There's 2 ways of taking this sort of adult version of Johnny Gordley. Oh, sorry, it was called Hoodwinked, which makes it really hard to search for because there was also like an updated Robin Hood called Hoodwinked.
I thought it was a updated Little Red Riding Hood.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
There's an updated thing called
One of the
Hoodwinked.
hoods.
There's an updated thing.
Like a 3D animation cartoon.
Yeah. There's an updated thing called Hoodwinked, which makes Tim Snyder's participatory play for children about Johnny Gordley, also called Hoodwinked, difficult to search for. But I reached out to someone. I reached out to someone who I knew. I reached out to one of my classmates at the time who was also in that session about the vegetable
Johnny Gordley.
Boy. I reached out to Johnny Gordley. And I was like, "Where are you now?" And he's like, "I got into meth." I've been made into a soup by a Slav.
Yeah, I was captured by some Swedes.
Both kinds.
And I said,
territorial root vegetable gangs. You're on Swede territory, boy. There's no squashes here.
This is just like street Veggie Tales.
Yeah.
You know Veggie Tales?
Yes, sadly.
Heavily Christian.
They're constantly advertised to me on Instagram. For some reason, Instagram profiles me as a Veggie Tales enthusiast.
Do you think you need Christ?
Well,
the
a
only way
lot
to
of
get
people
through
around
to
me.
you.
It's true, and it has to be through vegetables.
Yeah.
A lot of people around me are discovering religion, so maybe Instagram's waiting for me to do so.
What do millennial women love? Salad. What are they low on? Christ. There's one way.
Salad and spirituality. Brackets general.
You're sort of.
What if we narrowed that down to Christian spirituality?
Hey, look. Less crystal, more Christian. How about that? Let's put the Christ back into crystal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Whoa, I kind of love that. Getting people into Christianity through tarot. I wonder if there's like a department of, because all these, like, especially modern churches are all like incorporated and have legal departments and stuff.
Mostly, there's a bunch in King's Cross now that are just co-working spaces.
Yeah.
Like co-working spaces where they just sort of gently pressure you into being Christian.
I read your tarot
churches.
and your fortune
had 12
is Christ.
colleagues.
But
he turned
freelance.
Yeah. Flexible working.
We can turn water into cucumber water.
Yeah. There you go.
Love that.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I spoke with this friend of mine,
the Johnny Gordley victim,
who's now a labor lawyer. So he's like a sort of crusading. He's a crusader for sort of union justice in Canada.
Do you think Hoodwinked had anything to do with his career path?
Yeah. Do you think he was radicalized by watching the devil tell him about a vegetable-based play?
It's like Scar is keeping down the working class of this country. I also realize how incomprehensible this episode is if you haven't watched the episode of the podcast that we are talking about.
Go back and watch that.
I barely remember the Johnny Gordley episode.
Yeah.
So.
It'll never leave me.
Yeah. Pause this now and watch the episode about Johnny Gordley. What? with Tom Ballard.
Tom Ballard, that's
Yeah.
right.
The vegetable boy.
Yeah, the vegetable boy Tom Ballard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
from
course.
Australia.
Who's
They grow them big down there.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
right. Who's a big Swede who's over here trying to, much like the sort of the gangs of El Salvador were actually just imported American street gangs.
Yeah,
He was importing Australian vegetable street violence to Britain.
Wait, tell me more about these El Salvadorian street gangs.
So the
But Riley.
so the main gangs, there are two types of Central or Central American gangs. There are homegrown gangs that are more affiliated with like cartels, right? And then there are gangs who will be all Salvadorans from El Salvador who maybe have only a couple members left, possibly, who at the very senior levels of management, who were from Los Angeles often. But what happened was...
Like MS-13.
Yeah, Mara Salvatore 13 is the 13th Street Gang.
Right, yeah, from
Right.
LA.
They're from
Wait, so
LA.
who's from Los Angeles?
So what happened is these were gangs that were emerged in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
right? In like the sort of like 70s, 80s, and 90s, or often in American prisons. And there was a wave of deportations.
Gangs comprised of people from El Salvador.
Yeah,
crucially.
there was,
Or have that heritage.
Yeah.
or they would have been like, green card holders or immigrants from El Salvador. There was a wave of deportations, and what happened was these quite sophisticated criminal organizations got basically transplanted wholesale into states that were relatively fragile.
They're like the Amish. They're sort of like they're keeping up a culture
ways.
that they've brought from another country. Yeah, like a type of street gang that isn't indigenous to El Salvador.
English, I wouldn't expect you to understand this gold-plated AK.
Just a horse-drawn cart filled with crystal meth.
Yeah. So
Very slowly delivered across the border. Yeah.
They're like the Patagonia Welsh or something.
Yeah.
But they're all like driving around in lowriders and
It's funny to go back to because obviously El Salvador, like you said, would have had its own criminals already.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to show up and be like, but I'm really serious about the crime. And they all go, whoa, okay then. You could be in charge.
Yeah, amazing.
Just like when one of us does an open mic in Australia.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting?
You do have
Whoa,
your own.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, did you practice that? Yeah. That's a very good example.
Yeah, it's like
the fear in their eyes.
you going and doing a mic in Australia is like when Barrio 18 took over North El Salvador.
Yeah.
Great.
It's very funny that what is under discussion is gangs of prisoners being deported from one country to another and then starting a new kind of criminal fraternity there. And the way we've drawn an analogy with Australia is via stand-up comedy.
I feel like I know next to nothing about the history of Australia, though. Yeah, I'm aware of the broad strokes that like anyone on the street would know, which is like it was a penal colony.
Not entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Adelaide. They don't let you forget that.
Elements of it were a penal colony. And the usual sort of relatively parallel to Canada in terms of like displacement of the people who are already there. But like I don't know, for example, to what extent did the penal colony-ness of it influence what it was like in, for example, the 19th century? I just don't know.
Because there were not only bits of it.
And how do you sleep at night?
Well, now I realize I didn't know that I didn't know that, and now as soon as this is done, I'm going to read up on it.
My favourite bit about the Australia penal colony thing is there were bits that weren't a penal colony, but there were also bits that were double penal colony. Like they were double jail that you got sent to when you got sent to like Queensland or whatever, and then you committed more crimes. So they're like, right, you're going to fucking double jail. You're going to Tasmania, and people were like, no, we're not in Tasmania. Yeah. They're like, yep, that's it, Tasmania for you, buddy.
I was enjoying my 19 flagons of ale in what will become the Fortitude Valley.
Yeah.
I don't suppose anyone else is ever going to treat this place like that again.
There was a guy who he was like a bushranger, kind of like an outlaw style criminal, and he was put in jail in Tasmania. He'd been transported from the UK, I think, and he's in double jail in Tasmania, and he convinces 3 guys to break out with him. And
how do you break out of Tasmania?
You just
get a
swim,
boat?
I guess.
Because
They're
in like a prison in Tasmania.
Okay. So people are also living in like Hobart.
Yeah. So they break out and they basically go up into the mountains. And then gradually over the time that they're out there, he kills and eats all of them.
Uh-huh.
And when he gets recaptured by like, I don't know, whatever, the colonial police, they like they're pretty sure that he's killed and eaten these other men because they find the guys and they have like obvious evidence of killed, like eating marks on the bone. Should we say like tooth marks in the female?
Yeah, they were actually wrapped in foil and put in the back of the fridge.
Lots of little things of dip.
I've meal prepped my various escape comrades.
Oh God!
Yeah.
And
What I've taken the buttocks and I've sliced them very thin, and I'm actually air curing them in cherry wood smoke. It's going to be
That's
really
the most
nice.
Riley riff I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy was called Alexander Pierce, producer Tom, and he's Irish, so a bit of representation on the pod. We'd love to see that.
What did he do initially in order to be sent to double jail?
Good question.
Let's cast him.
Theft.
Oh,
Alexander Pierce is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel. That's the wrong
I don't
Alexander
think
Pierce.
that's it.
So, he basically, and then he got captured, and they were like, well, we can't really prove that he murdered these other guys, so we just put him back in jail. And then he convinced another guy to escape with him again and killed and ate him as well.
Because he was hungry.
And then that time we
At
were
this
like,
point, he just
okay.
wants to eat people.
Yeah, and that's
Eat me once.
yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
Eat me 4 times.
Yeah.
And delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
What
Feed a man a guy he'll eat for a day. Teach a man
to kill and eat guys.
Teach a man to convince guys to come into the mountains.
Here's my question. How do you kill and eat
Roast back mountain.
3
There you
guys?
go.
Very nice. How do you kill and eat?
Easy. You take the 3
Easy?
first ones and you say, let's eat this one.
Oh. Okay.
And then
But
you
then-
keep ganging up.
But once you're on to let's eat this one, the other 2 must think, well, this will happen again.
Yeah.
Well,
They must be
that's
on their
what-
guard.
That's what
you know.
makes you the ringleader, right? Is
Yeah.
because
You've
is the
chosen
other 2
some-
are like, thank goodness we're safe from the eating. You know?
Yeah.
But then it has
Yeah.
to happen again and then again. When
Well,
it's
then you
1
make
to
it
1.
feel like it's their idea, right? Because you've already killed and eaten one together, the 3 of you.
Oh,
It will inevitably, maybe once you get hungry, the other 2 are like,
I'm
What
surprised
you've
this
come
didn't
up with,
backfire
what
on
you've
him.
come up with is a kind of cannibalism version of the Monty Hall problem.
Yeah.
Where
who's Monty Hall?
Monty Hall was a game show.
I learned so much on this show.
So the Monty Hall show was a game show in like 1970s, 80s America.
It's most
Maybe
famous for the maths problem that's named after it. It's pretty old, I think. The Monty Hall
63,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Let's Make a Deal, and it was
deal.
It's where the origin of door number 1, door number 2, door number 3
Oh,
comes
yeah.
from. You know the one.
Yeah, the
Right.
one from the movie 21 starring Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey, who
What happens is as part of this is like there's 3 doors. Behind one of them is a new car. Behind 2 of them are goats. So you
So you obviously want the goat.
you want
Exactly,
both
yeah.
goats, then you can breed them together and have as many goats as you want,
Goats
sell
don't
them
de-
and get many cars.
Goats don't appreciate and value the second you touch them.
As soon as you drive that goat off the lot, it's worth half. Honestly, it's so funny to see like a 55-year-old man with a really amazing, fast, sleek goat because you're just compensating for the fact that you're old.
Yeah.
You're trying to seem young.
It's midlife crisis
Yeah,
goats.
Yeah.
because you have an awesome goat.
selling your goat on Goto Trader, and a guy's a real goat nerd comes around. He's like kicking the hooves, and he's like, yeah, I mean, there's a few scuffs on it. I mean, a few battle scars. You'd expect that for a goat at this age, but I mean, it is a bit gruff, isn't it? You know. Best I could do, $4,000. I mean, look, you can take it to We Buy Any Car if you want. They won't give you that much. I mean, they'll condemn it for an hour.
We Buy
I'm
Any
offering
Kid.
you $4,000 right now.
The other thing that's really important to note is, I think the Labour government has declared war on goaterists. And I think that's
very
really,
good.
really important.
Fucking hell. Go tourists.
Yeah, there we go. What do you think of
It
that?
sounds like a slur.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure for who.
Yeah. Captain Goatso destroying the ULEZ cameras because he wants to herd his goats into central London. And Magna Carta says I can do it.
rights telling me I can herd goats into corn market.
Sovereign citizen.
Like
yeah.
corn
Yeah,
markets.
I'm
not free.
actually a freeman of the land.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can drive this. I can drive my Italian sport goat across
How far are we
London
gonna
Bridge.
go?
Did the sovereign citizens
Yeah, there we
exist
go.
before the internet, or they feel like an internet disease?
Well,
to
I think
me.
the sovereign
I know they
citizens
existed, but they.
No, sovereign citizens did exist before the internet. They were just called Mormons.
Riley, I love you.
Mormons.
Oh, fuck me.
I love you so much. I'm doing this for
I
Tom.
cannot
I don't give a
that.
shit.
I keep on. I tie hand.
I know.
I
Should
know.
we do like the
Here,
He's Italian.
What if I just do this?
Mm.
Yeah. So
Just loads of drawing pins.
Okay. So I just watched a lecture on multisensory devices, and one of the things that they're doing is like with ultrasound, they're like creating texture. So we should just create with ultrasound an alternate table, and so you'll feel as if
Like
you're
a
touching
photo.
one, but it's not really there.
Can they do that?
I feel like theoretically you can.
That's amazing.
yeah, we got to get some like frontier level, like hard light hologram Star Trek holodeck technology here. So I stop.
Just so you could be Italian in peace.
Yeah.
So I can stop.
Going
sort of-
Italian mode?
I can stop making points like this. Anyway,
Like Gaddafi.
so the Monty Hall.
Riley in his Pan-African outfit.
Yeah,
Gaddafi at the UN.
yeah, Gaddafi at the UN. I mean, I did go to the London School of Economics. You know?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. It's all lining
That's-
up.
it's all
Riley
lines
setting
up.
up for the podcast like, guys, so this week I brought my plan to partition Switzerland into 3 countries.
Oh, sorry. Can my beautiful, sexy nurse that's always with me chill upstairs while we record?
I like that you just did an impression of yourself. That was fun.
Oh yeah, because that definitely wasn't Gaddafi.
No, that's what Gaddafi sounded like.
When he spoke English.
Well, guys.
Cool, guys.
Yeah, you sounded like Milo doing an impression of me.
I love that. It was so far down the simulacra chain. Riley doing an impression of himself.
That's why he had
Yeah.
to pivot to Africa, because all the Arab countries thought he was such a nerd. They rejected him.
Yeah. It's funny that
Who's
he
this
just
dork?
The Chad Baathists.
Yeah, the Chad
Yeah,
Baathists
yeah.
turned him down, so he had to just
Yeah.
desperately
exactly.
try and be African and
Well, 'cause
get that big robe with the big green Africa.
Well,
on
because
it.
Baathism is like it is a political project with
What's
an ideology.
Baathism? Guys, come on.
We didn't even finish what the goats were doing behind those doors.
Yeah. No, tell me what Baathism is, then we'll go back to the goats.
A sentence I think that has only ever been, as you know, it was spoken
be
before
fair.
by some shepherds in northern Iraq in about 1970. That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
only other time that sentence has been said.
As they were handed a leaflet. Okay, tell me about this, and then we need
All
to get
right,
back to the
Salman,
goats.
fine. Well, you tell me about Baathism
Explain
and why
to me
it's
how
so
it's going to
good.
be good. And this
Oh,
whole
yeah, well, I don't like the Kurds. You are right.
the podcast is like an advert for Ritalin. It's like a very long, like whatever the opposite of product placement is. Product lack.
Yeah. It's that bit in The Wolf of Wall Street where he goes, sell me this pen, and
Yeah.
then he goes, oh, can you just write something down for me? And the guy goes, I don't have a pen, and then it's like that. It's like this, but we're like, look at how much these people need this drug.
Yeah.
You know, people
Yeah.
often talk about how they're like, oh, I used to not have words to describe my diagnosis, and it's so helpful to have the words to describe what it is that I feel. And then people are going to be getting ADHD diagnoses, and they'll be asking, like, how do you feel? And they'll just turn around the laptop and it's just an episode of fucking Glue Factory.
Shut up about the fucking goats and tell me
This
about
is the inside of my
Baathism.
brain.
This is what my head is like all day.
Yeah.
I needed to
Make
not
it
be.
stop.
I needed to not be like this anymore, so I can live my life. Yeah.
Oh, it's my internal monologue on a podcast.
Yeah.
Right, okay, Baathism.
We're like Inside Out, that Pixar movie, except all of it is
what if-
anxiety.
What if we were the emotions?
What?
What if we were all the emotions?
Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Inside
what
Out, you know?
Yeah.
You could be...
the
Riley,
inside out
that's
guys in
literally
my
what I
head.
just said.
But you said they're all anxiety. I think we'd be other ones.
Okay.
No, you'd be anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inside my head, it's Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Bashar al-Assad, Fritzl.
Wait, so...
The, stuff to do with cars, car frustrations.
Oh yeah, like Clarkson. I don't know who else.
What
have
is
you
it?
got?
Dictatorial ideation? What
Yeah,
is that
dictatorial
emotion?
ideation.
Is that the name
I'm
of that
dictator
emotion?
maxing. Yeah.
Yeah, so the animated character for Gaddafi is just like...
Yeah.
A little 3D Gaddafi in everyone's
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, but it would be animated like an Inside Out emotion. So
I'm
he would
curiosity.
just be green
What's
with a big hat.
Baathism? What's goats?
I just also, I do think
Yeah.
it's funny that the two sort of late 20th century African like dictators, but two of them chose to retain the rank of colonel.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 They do like that.
Yeah,
It
I know,
does.
why colonel?
It's something to do with
KFC.
yeah.
Well, he's the third dictator.
Yeah, of Kentucky.
He was friends with those guys.
It's something to do with being like, oh, I'm first among equals. It's just me and
Yeah.
all the other colonels who did the coup, and we're all still mates, and I'm still just a
Yeah.
colonel like them.
No, there's no generals in the army.
Can't make it.
You know, it's all
Can't make a chord
Confusingly
without a
often
few
there
colonels.
are.
Yeah.
And you go
It's-
with Colonel Gaddafi telling General so.
yeah. Well, he's the generals want to keep the common touch, so they always ask a colonel what to do. It just happens to be the same colonel, basically.
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
so because Idi Amin was at Sandhurst.
Yes.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he
What
got trained.
sand hurts? Guys, I'm begging you. At least can someone answer one question?
Wait, so
Okay,
you want one
Sa-
question answered to completion before we raise new
Sand-
ones?
Sandhurst is the Royal Military Academy. It trains all British Army officers.
Okay, thank
But then
you.
also
thank you.
lots
But lots
of
of
army-
Commonwealth and
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
NATO.
Or just
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
there's
just turn up.
there's
No,
a
they don't have to be
Is
allies.
it for?
Yeah.
Is it the equivalent of university or equivalent of school?
University?
University.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
All right, so we're pulling it back.
Okay, so Baathism.
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 Speaking of Sandhurst. Yeah.
Yeah?
So Baathism is the ideology that governs like Iraq, Syria. It's pan-Arab.
Or did.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
does in
Syria.
some cases.
Yeah. Bits of Syria, yeah.
Yeah, it is a pan-Arabist ideology that's based on like super secularism. So it's the sponsors of Middle Eastern like personalist authoritarian like dictatorships like Saddam Hussein from America is because the deal is we're going to maintain tight state control of like resource production and infrastructure, and we're going to crush the Muslim Brotherhood.
Because we're secular.
Because we're secular. We're
Wait, so
hard
who
secular.
came up with it?
Just imagining this on the Have a Word podcast. What the fuck is Baathism? Okay, look, it's a pan-Arabist ideology, right?
It was from like the middle of the 20th century. It was like it's the thing to note about it basically is just that it's like one party states where the whole rule is we're going to be really friendly with the West, but we're going to make a lot of noises about how we don't love them, but we're going to basically be sponsored by them to keep down Islamism in the Middle
Okay,
East.
got it.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
we're
So,
going to
like,
have
it's like-
bubbles. We're going to have scented candles. We're
Yeah.
going to be reading something sexy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Oh,
there we
I
go.
get it. That's you're doing it fun. I was like, are they making it appealing to women?
Finally, a
Too long. The
Finally.
Middle East has been unappealing to women.
Yeah.
And look, we've not earned women's trust. So we're gonna do a pan-Arab party that's all the things women love. It's a nice bath. It's a tarot read. Finally, the pan-Arab party for the girlies. That's what
It's rare that you offend quite so many groups in one riff, Milo. But truly,
Yeah, that was a real machine gun.
Yeah. So anyway.
spiritualists, Middle Eastern people, women, all the intersection of any of those three.
There's like one guy listening in Basra right now, throwing down his tarot cards in disgust.
Yeah.
I'm 2/3 offended by this.
The
The only one who's that 2/3.
the tarot reader of Basra is one of those fucking Booker Prize winning novels.
Oh my god, yes.
I bet you £1 million next
Yeah.
year. The tarot reader of Basra,
Yeah.
wall to wall, good reviews, urgent and necessary.
Would it be called a haunting meditation, perhaps?
an urgent and necessary haunting meditation on. Oh,
Anyway,
yuck.
I don't know where we got to Baathism from. I don't know how we got
Okay,
there.
so now goats, please.
The
Finish
goats.
the goats.
Monty
So
Hall.
the Monty Hall problem is that you have 3 doors.
Yeah.
2 doors, goats, 1 door, car.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, well, you can pick door number 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
You pick, and then the door opens and it's a goat, and he's like, okay,
He opens one of the other
No,
doors.
sorry, excuse
and shows you a goat.
You pick, he opens one of the other doors.
And then you have to switch
And
the
then,
door you picked,
and
right?
then it's like either you sort of stick with the door, you switch to the other door.
Yeah.
And mathematically, you should always switch to the other door
Yeah.
because like the
I know, I've seen 21.
You've all seen,
Come on.
We've seen it. Right, fine.
Exactly,
I'd say
the foundational
that's
text.
The
Seen 21.
cannibalism version of the
Yes.
Monty Hall
Oh,
problem
yeah,
is,
the
that
Australian
whoever,
cannibals.
is that whoever corrals your group to eat one of the others, immediately you and the remaining people who aren't the leader should turn on the leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to guarantee
But
either being the leader yourself or not yourself then getting eaten when they eventually turn on you.
I completely understand that, but by that point, if you do eat the leader, you've eaten at this point one more person than the leader, and who is ultimately the real cannibal at that point?
Well,
It's
you. No, you don't avoid being a cannibal. No, this isn't how to avoid being a cannibal. It's how to stay
Okay,
alive.
that's a completely different.
It's how to stay
route.
alive in a situation where cannibalism is a given.
The other thing
Okay.
that seemed
Well, because you pegged the car and there's no goats to
Yeah.
eat. Yeah.
It'd be
Yeah.
funny in that situation to be like, oh, but which one of us is the real cannibal? Like, that's your main concern.
What, just eating, like getting eaten and being like, oh, if I eat you back, I'm no better than you. I'm just going to ignore you.
If I
Yeah.
eat you
Turn
back.
the other ass cheek for them to eat. Yeah.
Well, like we're like 69ing, but we're just actually consuming each other.
Oh.
Oh.
Like those German guys.
You were disgusted. I was a little turned off.
We love a bisexual man.
I think I took it more literally.
Yeah. Oh, well, the German guy who put an ad in the paper, like, do you want to be?
Oh,
The famous
Yeah,
one.
Very famous.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
real Monty Hall problem.
This guy had to maintain a not Monty Hall thing happening to him, this leader,
Right.
this criminal, for long enough, because bear in mind that, like, it would probably have taken them a few days to eat one whole guy.
Yeah,
But then you
depends
can't-
how hungry.
No,
they are.
unless it's us.
Sure. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But these guys are used to gruel. You
I
know,
can't
they're
tell
out of
whether
shape.
you would eat a person faster or you would take longer to eat than a day.
Both, either.
Okay.
I would take long to eat. There's a lot to eat. I weigh a lot.
Yeah, you're
need
what
a
they bring
freezer.
out at the cannibalism restaurant. It's like bookings of more than 8 must take our PR menu.
24 hours in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salt Bay cooking you
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Instagram.
But it's in Tasmania, right? So that you can't turn around and do the second betrayal the next day, because you'll still be like the meat's going to spoil. It's hot weather. You're killing these guys, and you're trying to not presumably die of like.
So you're
eating.
essentially killing a person for like what, a steak worth of food, and then
No,
they
but
immediately
like you'd
goes
have
bad.
to. I'm saying there's like a gap of like a week for the mistrust and paranoia to grow.
Right.
So you're having to maintain your iron grip on your henchmen for the next a whole week, and then pulling the whole trick again, and then doing it again one-on-one. How soon do you do it one-on-one? Because now the guy's got to know.
At the point where the leader's eaten the 2 other guys,
And you're just there going like, oh, at least now we'll be full forever.
yeah.
No.
But then when it's only 2 of you left, it is just easier. It's a one-on-one battle, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
leader doesn't have to be.
But you got to sleep. Someone's got to sleep
Yeah,
first.
but the leader isn't scared of being like overtaken by numbers, the way that
No.
he is in the very beginning. I
No,
suppose.
but it's direct. It must be direct
At
hostility.
that point, you'd be like, I'm going back to the prison. I think, it was a
We
great
had our
idea.
yeah,
It was worth a go.
I had to eat gruel and like dig things all day,
Yeah.
but that's better than this.
and being
Yeah.
eaten.
Or ultimately,
Yeah.
having to cross that sort of Rubicon where you're like, for the rest of your life, you have to carry the burden of, I've eaten another person.
Yeah. I
I'd
think
rather
these-
do the gruel and the work than sort of have to then live the rest of my life thinking, like, waking up in the morning and be like, well, another day of having eaten someone.
What
Well,
if you were
you've-
really hungry though? Like sometimes just on the way back to the prison, I'd take out my key and I'd just stab one of the other guys in the back of the neck, and then I'd eat him because I was just so overwhelmed with hunger. You remember the punnet of chicken thighs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Still hate the word-
Okay,
Still hate the word
yes.
punnet being used.
Yeah,
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Like berries.
Like berries. Yeah,
Yeah.
something revolting about it.
This was very. I
Ugh.
had to like do the Notebook with Olga there for a second.
Oh.
She was very upset by what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I was just thinking about Crime and Punishment and the very idea that like, would it eat you alive? So as to pardon the pun, or would you just sort of block it out because it's sort of self-preservation would make you.
Well, I think it isn't.
Or
Well, at
justify it, just go, well, I had
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do.
At that point, wouldn't you then just sort of exist in eternal struggle between trying to block it out and maybe never really being able to succeed?
Yeah.
Well, how much better would you feel if because you know that the other person is also some sort of terrible criminal, right? So there's that reason, there's that way that criminals often are like, yeah, I did murder that guy, but he was a very bad man, like me. And
Yeah.
they don't see that. They don't see that.
Yeah, the way
link.
that like every American movie, murder is fine as long as the person is bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Sicario, but they eat each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
Sicario? Fuck off! Have you met all together and made a list of things to drop into conversation? Fuck right
This is
off!
like we're like going through a list of like dorm room posters at this point. It's like very.
Wait. The dorm room poster of the Monty Hall problem in the bath party?
Yeah, that's right. Look, I had a very particular kind of dorm room.
To be fair,
Ladies who
both
go
of
back,
those-
ladies who go back to his house and
Both-
he's got a Baathism
political,
poster.
political science and maths student,
Yeah.
both of those posters are up
Oh, yeah.
somewhere.
I would love the idea of being. I suppose it's a little bit secret history, I guess, of being like, yeah, I've got a Baathist party sort of poster up in my room.
Yeah.
I mean, what message are you sending there? Just like,
Love Assad, mate. He's never going to do anything bad. you know.
But it could that could happen though.
Maybe
now,
just a
right?
that
fan
guy.
of secularism, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for
Yeah.
anything serious because love and sex don't mix.
I'm not looking for
Yeah.
anything serious, nor am I looking for anything salafist.
It's
Yeah.
2011. I'm having a great time. I've got my two kings up on the wall. The Bashar al-Assad poster and the 21 poster with Kevin Spacey. Neither of these men will ever do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. I'm in my lane. I'm driving.
Yeah, I've got my cork board of pictures of Gaddafi up on the wall.
Yeah.
Wait,
I've got all of my Miramax films.
well, that's like I had some friends who just lived in Damascus the summer of 2010.
Yeah.
Sort of the last time you could do that.
Yeah.
Is Sicario the 2015 action-adventure film starring Benicio del Toro?
It is.
yes,
It
yeah.
is, yeah.
I wouldn't describe it as an adventure film, really.
The adventure
Unless-
is going to Mexico.
well, unless the adventure was
Yeah.
kind of exploring the monsters that are created by the fact of there being a border between the States and Mexico.
yeah, that's an
hmm.
adventure
we
of the
tell you?
mind.
Yeah. We talked about this before, because it was written by Taylor Sheridan. Like,
Who's that?
so Sicario was. I
He
swear.
writes Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So
So
you know
Sicario-
his politics are good.
No, so Sicario. No, Taylor Sheridan is like. I'm fucking doing it again. Taylor Sheridan is the like.
Do on your thigh. The table of the body.
Yes,
Yeah. Now you're sounding like the guy from Tasmania again.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
thigh is the table of the body.
Do it on
Certainly
your
not
haunch.
the food.
Mm.
On your ham.
Yeah.
God.
Mm.
So he wrote the movie, but because he was still like they didn't let him direct it. They gave it to Denis Villeneuve, who took his script and just directed a totally different movie. Well, then the movie did so well that Taylor Sheridan got to make Sicario 2. So the sort of moral of Sicario 1 is that there are no good guys. We create the monsters that we fight, and we are the monsters ourselves.
Mm.
Like the CIA sort of operative and asset are sort of shown as the movie goes on to be like twisted and evil men. And then the Sicario 2 is they're gun-toting heroes because Taylor Sheridan got to direct it, and it shows a like extrajudicial drone strike as like a cool thing the hero does to establish that he's a badass. It's different
Yeah.
movies from different fucking universes.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's wild.
Yeah.
I can't again. Don't remember why I referenced Sicario
Yeah.
now at this point.
And you
I'm
see
s-
two
But
men.
honestly, that being said, from a movie making perspective, I think every sequel should just be a perspective shift.
Just flip
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Ah.
I think that would be so sick to be like,
Yeah.
oh, these are the goodies and these are the baddies. Sequel? Ha ha, let's see
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, it's
Although I guess
Terminator
we
1
went-
and Terminator 2.
We went
I've never
from,
seen
we
either.
went-
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Terminator
Yeah.
1
Oh,
Schwarzenegger's
That one's
the bad
on
guy.
me. When it comes to like Sicario
No,
and the
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
problem,
that's
this
fine.
one's on me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Gosh.
Terminator 1, Schwarzenegger's the bad guy. He's the robot who comes from the future to kill
And
them.
then 2, he's a
and
good
then in
guy.
2, they've like re-engineered him so
Be
he
a
works
goodie.
for them now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so the goodies are still the goodies. They're just joined by a cyborg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's kind of like the main character, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
It's
Yeah.
that's a really good. It's if you're ever sort of in bed and sort of too tired to engage with anything real, and wanting to be entertained, but unwilling to fall asleep quite yet because you can still prop your eyes kind of open.
And you've already watched 21.
You've already watched 21. Clips from Terminator 2, great
Just
to fall
clips,
asleep
not
to.
the show.
Yeah.
Well, like
I
white
watched a
noise.
clip from Sicario on the way here.
Some people are like,
Oh, that's so cute.
some people are listening to like white noise or audiobooks. You're watching clips of like the liquid steel robot trying to kill a man in a truck.
Killing those parents.
Ah, relaxing.
Ah. Why did you build such a muscly robot?
It doesn't need to be buff.
Because
He's a
Arnold
robot.
Schwarzenegger as a robot is supposed to be like undercover as a human in the future. That's how he's.
And it was the most suspicious looking
You
human.
just go, well, this is not a normal
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And why have you built
Where's
an
he-
Austrian robot?
They built an Austrian robot. That,
Don't you fucking do it. I swear to fucking God, do not. Just one episode where it doesn't go there. Keep it above ground, okay?
But an Austrian robot that is like visibly requires the post-apocalyptic rations of like 10 of our guys.
Yeah.
And
Just
also,
walk
he's in
around.
America. Why does he have an accent?
Yeah, it's
You made him more suspicious. I know I've brought this up before. I'm fairly sure I brought this up before.
Mhm.
But like in the time of Arnold Schwarzenegger, that face. Let me start again. In the time of Arnie, that body,
Mhm.
was like considered like a freak body, and now because of Marvel, everyone's expected to have one.
Yes,
Even dramatic actors are expected to look like that.
Yeah,
And
of
that's
course.
crazy.
The-
Mark
the
Rylance
bear-
has got a body like that now.
The bear from The
Kenneth
Bear
Branagh.
has the body.
Come
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah, and that's
if you
crazy.
want to live.
And then like back in the day, someone like I don't know, George Clooney wasn't expected to have a 6-pack, yet here we are.
If you
You
watch
think
Sean
does-
Connery.
Do you think it is now?
What? I don't think he has one
Well,
now.
Sean Connery's dead, but George Clooney.
I'm sure Sean Connery's got a six pack.
They
very
should.
thin. They chose
should.
Ozempic, dying.
They should remake all of those movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Ocean's 11 with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mhm.
We're
Well, like,
going
again,
to rob a
but hold
casino.
on. But now, like an old man, like surely
Yeah.
he'd be in the old guy.
But the question would always the first question you'd ever ask that character is, never mind like your ID or if you're a robot or not, where did you get this suit? Who made this to fit your insane proportion?
Yeah, like
How
the
does the sleeves even
WWE
work?
tailor.
Yeah,
Like
how-
the same guy who does like Triple H. That's who you've got to go to.
How do you cut sleeves for an arm that's shaped like a leg?
Oh, those are actually pant legs.
Yeah, it must be pant legs that they've attached to like a vest.
I recently learned about this, but that on the set of Jesse Ventura, on the set of Predator, Schwarzenegger played this incredibly elaborate prank on Jesse Ventura, where he got the wardrobe girls to tell Jesse Ventura that they'd been measuring them all for the costumes and that Jesse Ventura's biceps were bigger, knowing that Jesse Ventura would then challenge him at the gym to a whose biceps are bigger contest, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, okay, let's put some money on it. I can't remember like what it was. They were betting on something.
So
and
he was like a pool shark, but for
He was
yeah.
a bicep shark.
And then his biceps were like double the size of Jesse Ventura's.
Okay, now I need to look up Jesse Ventura.
Isn't he the governor of Minnesota? Am
Yeah.
I making that
Wait,
up?
so they
he's
both
Mon-
became
Montana,
governors?
yeah.
Governor of Montana.
So funny that
Hey,
you
that's
got-
crazy.
The other funny thing is that Kane, the wrestler Kane, then became the mayor of Knoxville.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
wow! And then the third guy was just
And
a
he
sports
renamed
car.
it Knockoutville. I am also here.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
Jesse
thing
Ventura
about.
looks horrifying.
They all look horrifying.
Wait, who is? Oh, 90s bodybuilders in suits is the Google image search that Tom is showing
Well,
me.
that's
here.
just that's your phone background.
But just a screenshot of the Google image search page.
yeah.
These are good. Yeah.
Is this what? Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean
It's-
they look like when they make clothes for an action man and they're too big because you can't get needlework that small. They look like cartoon characters.
It's funny
Although
that you were looking up Jesse Ventura while Tom was looking up that, and the results are the same.
Yeah, they
It's the same picture.
they thinned down Dave Bautista.
Who did?
Dave Bautista.
What they?
Well, they
Why
like they
would they do
sanded
that?
him.
They.
Three brackets. Like,
Yeah, Dave Bautista's like really thin now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
oh,
Why is he
God.
trying to get taken seriously as an actor? What's going on?
Look at him. Take that painting. Painting? What the fuck?
What about?
Take that painting. Are you tired, Riley?
Oh,
Oh my god!
Oh,
okay,
what?
Take this
snatch.
painting.
he looks like RuPaul.
Okay,
What-
snatch.
what about-
I just got some new paintings. That's
What about Dave Baathista and he's
I'm
ruling
listening.
an Arab state
Uh-huh.
in
No,
a
he's
secular way.
he's wrestling for the
Yeah.
pan-Arab secular dream.
He's pile driving the Ayatollah
But that would be
in
perfect.
order to make a point
But
about.
there was that wrestler who was like the Sheikh.
No.
oh,
he
was there?
Yeah, the Iron Sheikh.
Okay,
That's who he
I only
wrestled.
remember the fake Sheikh, the guy
No,
who did
no.
all the football managers.
No. This is in America, not the dismal,
okay.
dismal entertainment available in
Not
this
that-
country.
Could you say that directly into my turban, please? Type of sting.
No. The Iron.
Oh, wow, look at
the Iron
him.
Sheikh.
Oh,
Yeah.
like an
he's
evil-
a car dealer now, I believe.
the Iron Shake really
glad they're all
sounds like
employed.
something they would sell at the gym, like on the way out.
Yeah.
Like you need a bit of post workout.
But that's who Dave Baatista would wrestle.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect.
He's pro-secular. He's the Iron Sheikh.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
The funny thing is also the
The
Iron
very
Sheikh.
worldly
the Iron
southern.
Shake is a Wahhabist.
But it would be
Well,
very.
no, the Iron Sheikh was himself Iranian, which is like
Yeah.
anti-Baathist, but for other reasons.
Yeah.
The Iron Sheikh was an Iranian dressed up as a Wahhabist.
Yeah.
Basically.
Imagine the signs and the people in the audience at this WWE wrestling match. It would be for such a kind of politically literate cross section of hillbillies.
Like you've got to read the signs right to left, or they won't make any sense.
There is
Okay.
no pan-Arab dream without Islam.
Muhammad was the first pan-Arabist and is the only one I recognize.
Boy, there's one pan-Arabist in this
They
house.
don't even believe in the fourth caliph. They're goddamn apostates.
Let's go, Nasser.
Yeah.
Just going, Suez.
victory!
Character.
But it needs to be a heel where the thing we don't like is sort of legible to
Yeah,
like,
it would be
but
a
to, like,
kind of hipster.
but to like hillbillies.
no, it would.
You'd have to come out dressed like Frasier.
Yeah.
With like a cravat to be like, I like wine. And like, that would be enough.
Yeah,
They'd be
I
like,
feel
"This
like-
guy-"
people aren't making the two
Yeah,
types
the-
of wine
No,
distinction.
The gripe that you're describing is too niche for the WWE. You're fired. Pierre.
It's like you're saying, I'd be a heel. I'd pass port to the right. I'd, all this, like,
I'd wear a clip-on bow tie.
the minor faux pas heel. I would come
Yeah.
in and then I would have a folding chair that I would unfold, sit down in, and then discuss
but
politics
then
and religion.
not offer it to anyone else. Not offer anyone else a chair. Not say hello.
Yeah. I'd arrive without flowers for the lady of the house.
You're too pedantic for the ring. I'm
getting-
sorry.
I'm arriving early and
That's
not
good.
apologizing for it.
That's good.
Yeah,
Trey.
yeah. Could I? I'll be like the non-heel. I'll be like the WWE dandy, where I'm like the opposite of Riley. I'm like the impeccably polite wrestler. I turn up
Yeah.
with flowers for all the female wrestlers.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
asking the referee if I can do anything to help.
Oh, it'd be really funny if you ask for permission before you like headlock somebody.
Oh yeah, what the consent wrestler?
Yeah.
The poly wrestler, that could be fun.
Nothing kicks ass more than affirmative consent.
Well, like the poly wrestler like blows a whistle, and then everyone else from the polycool like runs in and helps him fight.
Yeah.
Well, they actually get into a fight between each other.
Yeah, just evolves
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
absolute
Like the
chaos.
Ice Climbers in Super Smash
Yeah.
Brothers. It's one character, but there's a few of them.
Yeah, Royal Rumble, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
specifically the
It's a
polycool
polycule.
Royal Rumble.
I think a polycule is a lot like a Royal Rumble in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's
In
a
what
lot
way?
of-
It's directed by Vince McMahon?
Yeah, it always devolves into fighting in the end.
Wait, if Royal Rumble only devolves into fighting at the end? Surely throughout.
The Royal Rumble
It devolves into fighting at the beginning.
Surely the end is the end of the fighting. It devolves
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah.
peace.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so kind of it's actually the perfect opposite.
They're both
yeah.
flying in opposite directions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But when
There's a
one-
crossover point where they are the same.
Yes, and one is leaving St. Louis traveling at 80 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he's pursuing the other members of the polycule with a knife.
Okay, Pierre is historically accurate Viking.
Maybe.
Look, my helmet has no horns.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
horns.
People are pissed.
These
They're
are
like, where the
drinking.
fuck are the
I'm
horns?
mainly here to trade. Ooh, I have a lot of amber. 96% of the world's amber is from Kaliningrad, which I am closer to than you. Not sure. All the silver in these coins come from the Abbasid Caliphate. There aren't any silver mines in Western Europe big enough to. And,